we're just going to head over to Newcomerstown for a few minutes with the mayor, Pat Cadle, who's in on our 8:30 High Beam this morning. Mayor Cadle, good morning. Thanks for coming in. It's good to see you again.
Good morning to you, and thanks for inviting me.
Not a problem whatsoever, because I know a lot of things have been going on in Newcomerstown, and we don't always hear about them or the details about them, so it's a good opportunity to do that. And here I do know that you are going to have a grand new office pretty soon, at least. Is that right?
Well, I don't know about the word grand. That's all right. But yes, we're excited. We had purchased the Morgan's building last year, and it gives us a lot more space for growth. But the biggest reason we needed a new office was the steps at the municipal building were hard for people.
Yeah.
And we had sent out a survey in 2020, a community survey, and that came up as one of the top things that people didn't like, that they were concerned with. So we began looking for a one-floor deal, and it works out well because it helps the police station out because they have a little more space right now than they'll need. It gives them a conference room upstairs. I know the chief has meetings at different times that he has to go to other places. That it just makes it easier for both groups. As we move over, what right now we have is we're working with the architect, so we'll try and put it out for bid in January, and the goal, if everything goes perfect, you know how that goes.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully by this time we're moving in next year.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
Yes, that'll be nice.
Certainly. Where are you at in your term? I don't even know.
This is second year of second term.
Okay. So you
got 2 years to go.
You got a couple more years at least
Right.
to go with that. Well, very good. And something else that we got to talk about a little bit before we came on here was the river walk and the boat ramp, which seem to be really popular additions.
Then, it's one of those things you're never sure how people are going to take it. We knew the boat dock and the ramp were going to be good things because we have a lot of kayakers. The river is probably one of the biggest recreational areas right now that people are utilizing.
Yeah.
And we like that we're a finishing point if you want to start in Jenaton. And that's a good trip. That's about 5.5 hours from Jenaton on that river because of the twists and turns.
Yeah.
But you're a 2.5 hour ride to Fort 751 in Coshocton County, or you can go all the way to Coshocton if you want to. That's a good day trip too.
Oh, yes.
But the biggest thing is where we didn't expect the fishermen to enjoy it as much as they are, and they're pulling fish out of there. I didn't know we're in that river. There's one guy got a saw guy. I had a guy send me two pictures of sheephead that I couldn't believe were in there. You always think of the river and catfish and crappies and those type things, but sheephead, I never dreamed of it. And the one guy pulled it was about 1.5 feet long. It was a nice sized fish. I don't even know if you can eat sheephead.
The thrill of catching it's enough, though.
There you go. A fish that size, yeah. But the nice thing is right off that ramp, we have a loop, about a half-mile loop right now in the new park. About a 1/4 mile of it is just a river walk, and it's probably the prettiest part, especially with the full foliage coming out right now. And so it's something that's nice and easy. We know we have people walking down there. We actually think we already are going to need a bigger parking lot than what we have from what we've seen down there already. So it's been a nice addition. It's a pleasant surprise at the use it's getting, and we know you did a good thing.
What are some of the other projects that are either ongoing or that are going to be undertaken?
Another big one next year is we'd like to finish removing the Simon's factory. Last year, we actually didn't do anything this year because we used the money we had planned for this year because we had a good company in there to bid on it. Mm-hmm. And we have cement to remove of the main factory and 2 buildings left. We got 22 of the 24 buildings done last year, but you have a huge slab of cement. And we have the EPA in there already drilling for vapor first is what they're looking for. We know when they lift that cement, there's going to be some problems. There'll be some hot spots that'll need cleaned up. But the nice thing is we already have a developer who's interested. You're still in those first stages where you're dancing. That would like to put a nice senior citizen village in there, maybe some condos facing the river because it's right above the park.
Yeah.
So you'd have a beautiful view of the river and the park itself. So those are the Morgan's building being redone for an administration office, the Simon's factory, the rest of the removal are probably the biggest things we have on the agenda for next year.
I know, and I don't mean to hit you with this out of left field, but I know that you being a former educator, It seems like the town administration and the schools really have a good relationship in Newcomerstown. Is that true?
It's very true. Jason Peoples, who is the superintendent, I had him in my seventh grade health classes.
You're telling on yourself.
When you've been there too long, yeah, you're right. And that's been one of the nice things for being mayor too, is a lot of people that know me from the schools, and you have a nice relationship already. But yeah, with the schools, they're doing the best they can, and I was there for 35 years, and I'm glad I'm not there with what they've had to deal with COVID.
Gosh, yeah.
But I think they're handling it well, and you just keep moving. That's the whole thing, is keep moving forward, and it'll get better.
Did I hear that you purchased more solar panels or something along those lines?
We have an agreement. It's not a purchase, actually.
Okay.
We have an agreement with Westfield Conservancy up in Cleveland. If that name sounds familiar, they were the ones that were going to change Wilkshire Hills into a park. And I'm just as glad it's still a golf course. I enjoy that, too.
Yeah.
But we've been trying for really 5 years to utilize the old landfill to put solar on to generate revenue. And we thought it was a great spot because we have a substation right across the river. In fact, the power poles go right through the landfill to go to the power station.
Okay.
And we never understood, because our stumbling block always seemed to be AEP. And what we didn't realize is AEP couldn't do anything because they didn't have the capacity to take that electricity. They've been working on the substation the last 2 years hard. They've increased the size of it, and we're thinking that's why we're able to get it through. But we're looking at 20 acres. We're not. It's one of those deals where you kind of have three parties. You have us providing the land, and we'll get $15,000 a year plus a 1.5% increment increase each year. It's a 30-year contract, but the Conservancy will sell the electricity to AEP. And what those details are, I don't know, and I wouldn't understand, just because everybody's got to make a profit is what it comes down to. But they take care of that end of it. But we're going to put that money into the parks. We updated Southside Park. We put new playground equipment in there earlier in the summer. We neglected that park for a long time. So that became the second one, and it's more of a little kids park with the playground equipment. Then we opened up Simons Heller's Park, and so you got a little more maintenance you got to take care of, and this will work fine for us as far as supplying it and taking care of those parks. So we built something, but we were able to take care of it with money for revenue from that.
Very good. And speaking of taking care of it, we're going to have a new convening of a new council, I guess, after the election. Is that right?
We have 4 seats up. We have 3 candidates running. We have a fourth that also did a petition that is a real good candidate, but the petition got thrown out, so we know she's interested in joining us. 1 incumbent running, 2 new ones going to be getting in, so we'll have 3 new ones, and we're excited. They're good people. They're going to help us. We've been very fortunate with the people we've had on council. I've had no problems since I've been mayor, and that goes to their credit. We've got a lot of good things happening, and they have to monitor that and make sure that I'm doing the right thing too.
Well, I'm sure they're pleasantly not surprised, but working with you has got to be a good thing, because you're so used to working with people through your education career that it just kind of extends on. Then
there's a lot of skills you learned along the way.
That's for sure. Anything else you want anybody to know about Newcomerstown before we have to wrap it here?
Just we have the meet candidates on Saturday at April's at 9:00. So if you want to come and meet those people and ask them some questions, that'll be available. I think that's pretty much it.
Trick or treat?
We've talked trick or treats on Saturday from 4 to 6.
Okay.
I think most of the towns are in that range. Most of them are on the 30th this year, and that's a good thing. I think you don't you get more of your own kids. I think when people were like, when you have it at the same time.
All right, so look for Mayor Cadle. I don't know how he'll be dressed, but
I'll depending on how cold it is, I'll be sitting in the lawn chair at the end of my driveway with a bag of candy. So I'll be ready.
That's what we're looking for. Pat, thanks a lot for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for having me.
That's Pat Cadle, the mayor of Newcomerstown, on our 8:30 High Beam this morning here on Big Hits WBTC.